mean, I'll tell you what. If it's the last words I say in my life and I die right now, I can say you elite dudes are just dumb. You're dumb. You're boring and you're dumb. And you're all going to go bald. And, why do you play so much golf? Because you're not that good. Your wife can't stand you because you're not that good. All you do is sit on your phone and it works. What? Couldn't you call it like lion punch or monkey breath or skunk? A bunch of stinky bricks. Okay. Ben Rich, 1993. We now have the technology to take E.T. home. Ben Rich, look him up. 1993. We now have the technology to take E.T. home. Remember the fucking movie E.T.?
Right, okay, so there's a guy streaming about this subject. But if you don't look at the history to this, the Majestic 12, MJ12, and underground military bases, a secret group of government known as Majestic 12 or the Jason Society or Jason Scholars has given the Greys several large tracts of land in America's southwest near the Four Corners on which to build large underground bases known as the DUMBs, DMBS, military bases. Now, from these locations, the Greys are able to adopt their targets, which Maurice and S observation ability than any would otherwise be able to do, resulting from a closer location to the adoption sites. Now, there's another argument to this, that technology-wise, I'll go into that later. In the resulting decreased flight time, which translates to less time available detection by others. This is known as the Alien United States Government Technology Exchange Theory and is currently popular in varying degrees. Many researchers and others who believe that in the government constantly lying about its involvement in the phenomena and it's keeping information secret while using different information, don't they always? Tactics to make all eyewitnesses appear to be fooling. This disinformation appears in various forms, from government propaganda, or what's going on now, lies about activities and threats to silence witnesses, to those more vocal and outspoken of researchers who attempt to convince others that there is no UFO phenomenon. No such thing as extraterrestrial life. Think about the advanced technology in 2021 plus 2050, what they have, with much more going on. You can go and research that. Where did all this start from? And I've done the research of previous past days' streams with the evidence, the documents to prove what's been going on. Education purposes only. These are many documents eyewitnesses currently available and directly, indirectly indicate the government on conspiracy theory. They're watching everyone. It's gone beyond a joke. This originally, as a lot of people I'm sure were, of the Roswell event and the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Now, these documents do tend to point towards a secret government. Well, if you look at the history in 1700s and prior to that, you'll see what the 13 bloodlines are about to date. History to date. It's a lot of interesting history. But it's up to the individual to, whatever you want to think. Oh, believing. Educational. Seem they like to target people, watch them and discredit them and whatever else. I think we should have it. Not anymore. Because life is too short. People just want to stick their hands in the sand, bury their head, in mind program television, or whatever. Be my guest. Send you undercover police to flat 7 earlier. Most of us still there. I don't give a shit. Back my bloody home. I don't give a shit. Torture my body. I do give a shit. I've got audio evidence of this. This is unbelievable. And the satellites. What do you think they're doing to the bloody satellites on this planet? Why do you think they're controlling the weathers and the Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi. I mean, there's nothing just 5G effects abiding the frequencies of your DNA. But I just thought I'll cover this subject today before they start hacking this. Okay, let's go back to the document. Right, so I'm sorry. Yeah? So this is reference to, let me go to the top of the document. An Alien Harvest, Evidence of Great Origins, Reasons for Human Adoption by Dragon Rain. August the 6th, ironically, 1995. Well, it's now the 8th of August, 2021. There's a website, Forbidden Knowledge. Let's see if that website's still around. Might be archived. And I like to hack into your brain. Oh, look. Might be an archive. The world of personal finances. We all have struggles from time to time. It's hardly ever in the financial industry in centuries to date has always been bloody controlled. Anyway, if you want to look at the website, might want to go into archives. You might want to go to see if there's a homepage. Might be on it already. Yeah. We have the noise campaign above my head going on right now. Oops. Let me go back to where I was. The 2019, so it's an old website. Let's go back to where I was and get rid of that one. Don't know where the abstract is. The mysteries of modern ufology is the origin of the entities known as the Greys. These are meant to be the small beings, the most commonly observed entities reported by abductees about board meant to be UFO craft, and are believed to be the most reasonable for human. Look, if you don't think military are behind this, worldwide, and portray it as false, watch out for false aliens, because there's people are being led to that subject, and with the technology, the mind control, anything is possible. Just trust your gut on these things. You see, what is the MJ12? Well, the company held believes that Grace is out there connected somehow United States. So you go to where it's alleged that a flight, military flight, fighter estates is what it was, as well as the weapon system is known and what it is, ultrasound weapon, and the declassified research wave study. And then it goes into a secret group reference to the MJ12, as I said, underground bases they built. Let's see if there's a document on that. So conscious, so there's might be something. Let's have a look. Oops, went too far. So you have got caves, the world's biggest caves. Now you've got links to ancient Egyptian city and the Grand Canyon. I mean, this is evolution, from years ago. Previous civilizations, who knows if they lived in caves. You've got a whole library and links on this particular site, links to Antarctica. Secret life may thrive. Researchers discover massive caves beneath the Antarctica. Yes, I like documentaries when they go into that subject. And then you got the hidden portal to another world, a secret underground cave in Vietnam. So shall we have a nose at that one? Because in history, the war in Vietnam, what was really all that about? This is dated 2017, ancient code. Let's see if that website's still around. Yes, it is. Fascinating. So you might want to have a nose at that website. Interesting articles. Pick the one which they claim. Wow, big cave. If that was sustain any sort of like threats to Earth, would that still exist? The cave is probably beyond anything you could ever come across. It's mysterious, it's beautiful and magical. Discovered and rediscovered in 1990 by a man travelling through the jungles of the and States National Park, where it was, searching the area for timber, really, and food in order to make money, in order to survive, really. Little did he know that the search for food and timber would take him into the undercover, a magical, otherworldly place. Wow, that was a really special find. Explored the place in the best as he could, but eventually went back home. A days later, when he thought about returning to the cave to explore it, he couldn't remember the exact location where he found the entrance. Eventually, he forgot about it. Eventually, members of the British Cave Research, always British, isn't it? Howard and D. Lambert were exploring that area, conducting missions in the area. One day they spoke to whoever it was and mentioned about the cave who had come across. The British cave explorers were fascinated by what the other guy had told them and urged him to try and rediscover it once again. Many attempts failed and went by in search for the cave entrance, and just when they thought they were over, they rediscovered it in 2008. Wow. And found the worldly portal, a supermassive cave hidden for centuries, far from mankind's reach. Eventually, led the British cave explorers in 2009, of all dates, as they performed the first ever expedition to enter what would later become known as the Mountain River Cave. The cave is massive, it's enormous, so big that many claim a Boeing 747 could easily fly through the largest cavern. Look at that. The interior of the cave is unlike something you've never seen before, an alien-like landscape, or most likely exclusive to the cave, as many would have entered it and said that they'd never seen anything like it anywhere in the world. The cave is one massive ecosystem, so big as if you were entering into an internal world. In fact, it's so memorizing that enter jungles emerges from inside the cave. Entire jungles. A landscape so magical that you cannot appreciate the true beauty until you actually see it. Australian photographer, states who it is, John Spies, who spent a week living inside the cave, described it with an interview with New York Post. The cave is humbling, belittling experience. It's amazing to be 5 miles inside the cave and yet daylight illuminate the cave formations. The dimensions of the cave are incredible. To camp for 5 days in the biggest cave in the world is not something most of us could do in our lifetime. The entrance is quite small. A mist from the cave, caused by cooler air inside, meeting hot air outside, rises into the surrounding forest. The cave is harder to get into than the back cave. Enter it, visitors must scale 260 feet wall using harness and rope. They must then cross massive boulder piles and pass under chunks of limestone, sides of small houses. But images best describe the cave. To here are a couple of similar pictures inside. It's beautiful. So let's go back. So that was the hidden underground cave in Vietnam. Then you've got, let's have a look. It's quite a few actually. So let's have a look at this. Huge lost cave with 3 floors. Gigantic hole in Antarctica. 2019 article. Polar explorers discovered a monumental ice cave with 3 floors, a giant 20 or 200 meters of walkways, several lakes, a river hidden in Antarctica. A mysterious cave was found in the island, which explorers from the Ukraine expedition group. And there were no entrance to the cave. It was originally blocked with a glacier, which shifted into the ocean. Teams searched tirelessly to find another entrance to the cave. Several unsuccessful attempts, and then they found an opening of an old British base, only to discover the cave was actually 3 times larger than the team previously thought. There's a video on it, massive underground cave found. So go back to original MJ12. Just go out. Just go out of that one. We'll get that one. Okay, into that one. So let's have a look at this one. Right, so the underground bases. Let's have a look. So according to scientists, ancient structures are so advanced they shouldn't even exist. America's top secret bases. The hidden underground military bases, the real headquarters of the New World Order. The base military dumps. Got links here. So you got the I can't pronounce these bases and tunnels. So let's have a look. Just go to TV website. 2000. You want to believe this? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But let's have a look anyway. Ancient underground city. Turkey. It was found 1960s by chance when someone's home was being renovated. An 18-story city beneath the ground, the largest hundreds of kinds. It was constructed by mystery men around the 8th century BC. Wow. Look at that sophisticated structure in that photo. Underground. The completion of the city is comparable to digging out a system of below ground chambers. Inhabitable, 20,000 people, just a hammer and a chisel. It's suspected the city was used as a huge bunker to protect its occupants from possible natural disaster or war. Amazing, the community had accessible fresh water, shops, individual rooms, community rooms, tombs, escape routes, livestock, and even a school supported study room. Bizarre complex. So, below the three-level stone monument on the island of Malta, known as, it describes what it is, was uncovered in 1902. And that finding it was an ancient several labours fell through the hole they were digging. In addition, 7,000 skeleton remains were discovered. Unbeknownst to anyone is a time period when it was built, but it was media correction made completely from stones. To make matters more strange, voices in the range of 95 to 100 hertz can echo throughout the whole complex, with individuals standing in certain spot. Essentially, this means that women's voices often don't produce this effect in the same way as men's voices do. If that's not strange enough, a man's voice range 110 hertz, and the whole dwelling becomes a room that induces trance-like states. Frequency does that to the brain, unable to stimulate the center of the human brain. See what they're doing now? Ancient Great Dam. Look at that. Yemen. 750 BC was constructed in the derelict, hot and dry country of Yemen. The dam was once close to being one of the 7 wonders of the world. It remained intact for over 1,000 years in comparison to modern day dams that lasted roughly 50 to 100 years. Around 2,000 feet long is the Great Dam of Sichuan, almost twice as long as the Hoover Dam. In about 600 AD, the dam collapsed, burst around most of the architecture system, turning the area into a sandy spot. It can be seen as today. It's a shame. So I'll go back to where I was. I'll keep to the subject. So, Majestic 12, MJ12. Okay, the project. Who's behind it? A briefing document, operation of Majestic 12 prepared for President Eisenhower Then M12, disclosure, new document. The further disclosure to national security special studies. The ultimate secret, MJ12. The FBI connection, the UFO secret group. So let's go first to briefing document. Bloody heck. So top secret. I mean, it's all been declassified. Curriculum. 18th November 1952. It's a briefing document for that president at the time. And it tells you who the members are at the time. Okay, here we go. And it's dated 24th of June 1947. Civilian pilot claimed over the mountains of Washington observed a flying disc-shaped flying travelling object, formation of high speed. Although this was not the first known sighting of such objects, it was the first to gain widespread attention to the public media. Now, hundreds of reports of sightings of similar objects, so it goes into that. And it goes into the remote location known as Roswell Army Air Base in New Mexico, 1947, July the 7th. Secret operation to begin to assure recovery of the wreckage of an object for scientific study. During the course of the operation, discovery the four small humanoid beings had apparently ejected from the craft at some point before it exploded. These had fallen to Earth about 2 miles east of the wreckage site. All 4 men were dead, badly decomposed due to actions by predators, sobby animals, and exposure to the elements. During approximately 1 week time period, which had elapsed before their discovery, the scientific team took charge of recovering those bodies for study. The wreckage of the craft was also removed from several different locations. Civilian military witnesses in the area were debriefed. News reporters were given the effective cover story, and that the object had been a weather research balloon. Covert analyst effort organised by, it states who it was, acting directors of the president, resulted in primary congresses. 1947, the disc was most likely to be a short-range reconnaissance something craft. The conclusion was based on the most part of the craft size and the appropriate lack of identifier positioning. A similar analysis of 4 dead occupants were arranged by Dr. Bonk. What a name! I can't believe you can make these up. It was the conclusions of the group, 1947, that through these creatures, one human-like in appearance, the biological and processes responses in their development has apparently been quite different from those observed in Post and Horn. Can't pronounce that word. Anyway, the team suggested the term extraterrestrial biological entities, EBES, be adapted as a standard term as reference to these creatures until such time more defined can be obtained, agreed upon. Since it's virtually certain that these craft do not imply any country, from anything on Earth, considerably suspicions had centered around what their point of origin might be. How do they get it? Mars was and remains a possibility at the time of that document, although some scientists, as Hobley, it quotes it was, considered it's more likely it was dealing with beings from another solar system entirely. Numerous examples of what appeared to be formal writing about found in the wreckage. Efforts to decipher these remain largely unsuccessful. Equally unsuccessful has been efforts to determine the method of the pulsation, to the nature of method or transmission of the power source involved. Our research along these lines had been complicated by complete absence of identifiable wings, propellers, jets, or anything conventional methods of pulsation and guidance, as well as total lack of metallic wiring, backroom tubes. These are made of crystals. I've come across another document the other day. It's crystal energy. It is assumed that the pulsation unit was completely destroyed by the explosion within the crash. A need for such additional information is possible about these craft. Their performance characteristics and performance led to an undertaking known as U.S. Air Force Project Sign, December 1947. In order to preserve security, liaison between Sign and Majestic 12 was limited to 2 individuals. Intelligence Division of Air Marshal Command, whose role was to pass along certain types of information through channels. Sign, involved in the Project Guruge, G-I-U-D-G-E, December 48. The operation currently being conducted under the code name Blue Book, with liaison maintained with the Air Force, who was head of the project. 6th of December 1950. A second object, probably the same origin, impacted the Earth at a speed at EL Indigo and of the air of Texas, Mexico border. After following a long, and it quotes, treachery through the atmosphere, by the time it reached, team arrived. What remained of the object had been almost totally disintegrated. Such material as could be recovered was transported to the AEC, the facility in New Mexico, for study. Implications for national security are of continuing importance, in that motives and the ultimate intentions of visitors remain completely unknown. In addition, a significant upsurge in surveillance activity of these crafts, beginning in May and continuing throughout the autumn of that year, had caused considerable concern for new developments may be immediate, I should say. It is for these reasons, as well as the obvious international technology considerations and the ultimate need to avoid a public panic at all costs, that the Majestic 12 group remains an unanimous opinion that the imposition of the strictest secrecy precautions should continue without interruptions into this new administration. That goes back all those years ago. Top secret from Harry Truman. Further documents. General briefing documents. National Archives. So let's go back. Intriguing. Maybe, maybe not. Let's go back. Okay, so the ultimate secret. Yeah, so basically it's were created really about the so-called UFO crashes as small operations. In later years, operations involved and become known as the MIAJI, the Joint Agency for Joint Intelligence. Now, the most secret of all agency groups outranks all other agencies, including the National Security (NSA) and the Central Intelligence (CIA), and basically responsible for directly and only directly to the President of the United States. I don't know if that is still the case, but there you go. So this document just goes into a bit more detail and background to the MJ12 and its 12 members. They reckon that the Greys came from a planet system, star system, and it quotes which one. How they work that out is interesting. And then you got the members here. You got Rockefeller. No, it's always look. You've always got Nelson Rockefeller. What are you posing for? It's part of the secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing from its families being internationalists and comprising of others around the world to build a more globalist political economic structure, one world, if you will. See? It's been centuries in the making. And there's a lot of lists and more information, more background information. Population controlled, food control. Goes into quite extensive backgrounds. Oh yes, but I'm not going to mention the Rockefeller game plan. Post-lockdown. Behind the news articles. I'm not going to read it out, just going to have a quick nose. ID 2020. Here's the real game plan. Population control and eugenics. So is our main agenda to do Jerusalem and complete the mission trusted to them by the Illuminati Council, as I said, 13 bloodline families. Affect the economic financial markets. Demonic, isn't it? Extremely demonic. William Gates is the father, Bill Gates. David Rockefeller, son of John D. Rockefeller. And David's eldest son was born in 1941. Rockefeller Foundation, Rockefeller Empire. US government under Wall Street, energy, business, food, foundations, and empires of the mind, etc. It claims the head of CIA is answerable only to the head of the Rockefeller family and not the US. Well, I'm not going to quote. Collapse of the world economically. Already taking key delegates at the conference and and social fabric. Started at least 10 years ago, probably earlier, in famous 2010 Rockefeller report. Yeah, that's public knowledge people's got about already. And the eventual one had in New York City 2019. But you need to go back in history to who these people are, how they're connected to where we are today. Depopulation, massive reduction, eugenics plan. Yes, then you got the technology, electric ID, nanochip. Digitalized currency. The effects of the 5G, followed by 6G. It's so demonic. Self-driving cars, robot kitchen, artificial intelligence, AI. Production and delivery of everything. Humans are being enslaved. Well, let's go back to Majestic 12. Yes, look at the old history. Beings of light, another popular theory held many involved in New Age philosophy, is that the Greys are truly a benevolent race they came to be. That they are here to guide humanity into the next millennium with spiritual understanding of each other in order to create a more perfect society. It also finds support among those who claim to be in contact with the Greys, claim to receive information about what they're doing as well as why. Seems like propaganda as well as disinformation around, and the theory that holds that Greys come from a society whose gene pool has become overly embedded or otherwise has become depleted. It is somehow similar to the old science fiction scenario, like a dying Mars coming to Earth in order they can survive. The theory is much simpler, is what the article here states anyway, and devote a spiritual or mental evolution of mankind. Supporters of this theory say that some Greys have spoken to them, told them that the reasons why they're here. Don't forget technology or patterns. The Greys claim they know these things that happen because they aren't limited by time, flowing in a single direction but can move forward or backwards through time. While they cannot stop it, they can only want to prevent as much suffering as possible. While they're here, though, they could use some of our DNA because their supply has been drastically reduced for a reasons rather told to the contactees who communicate with them. Endless of theories. Do these theories both have their various sources, both have evidence support that one theory while detracting from the other? The author's personal views leans towards the first theory due to several points of evidence. Most of evidence for the Grey government conspiracy comes from sources within the government, you see? Yeah. And then from careful observation analysis of government activities the past 50 years, the other government's beliefs comes directly from the Greys, who have implanted into the abductees' mind certain instructions and ideas to give to society at various times as they determine. Using the abductees as virtual recorders, the Greys claim that they are here to help humanity realise its potential and to watch over humanity. Well, the Earth has been destroyed by powers that be at the moment, so wouldn't be too surprised if that was something in it. The government files, on the other hand, claim the Greys are absolute liars. You have to trust your gut feelings in this. Anyway, that's all I'm going to... let's see if this guy is still streaming. There's a point on this subject. Yes.
The big V. Triangular ships. Those are not ours. Cloaked cloud-making crafts are miles wide. Yep, and they just float there. And you hate them almost as much as I do, don't you, Jeff P? I call him Master Jeff. Master Jeff P. It's Independence Day. Yeah, huge ships. Well, you know, I mean, I'll step out on a limb right now, and I can say that these cloud things, these ships that just float around your city every day, and they do. They just float around. You know, they repeat their cycle. They come back around every couple of hours. I do think that those are man-made, but it's not a big craft. It's usually just a little itty-bitty object in front of a big triangular cloud. I mean, when do clouds make straight edges? And it just guides them along, and they just stay there all day. They just float, and they come back around. They hide your sky. They make everything super bright. I mean, my eyes, I'm serious. I'm about to go blind. I mean, I am not kidding. I can't see anymore. I can't see.
Stephen Spaulding.
I mean, it is always just so silvery. I mean, look at this. It's so silvery light. Saw lots of straight clouds yesterday. Yeah, straight clouds. Yeah, just big bands of super straight, triangular or rectangular or circular. You know, how about the huge circles that you see in usually at sunrise and sunset?
It's demonic skies.
Such a haze here. Yeah. It's a blinding haze. Jeff P. No straight lines in nature. No, there aren't straight lines in nature. That's why so many of us are like not straight line nose pick sheeple anymore. Big clouds shaped like triangles that stay in the sky. I mean,
yeah, so you got to be careful. Deception. That's all. Whoops. Deception in life, deception in skies, whatever. For now, I'm signing out because there's a lot of technology, very advanced technology. So let's see. Let's see, the monitor everything I do. It's amazing that you stumble across information and then you're why is individuals being singled out and targeted? And then you find certain channels, and I'm going to show you which one, what they're discussing. And that was for the individual to make their mind up. Yeah, as to why the demonic side of life, which there is, the secret history of covered that before in a couple of streams. And and this is what he's sharing. I won't play it. Internet doesn't get hacked into, and people get into his channel because he's not put on a list to be targeted. You can keep your gaslighting demonic entities yourself, thank you. 19 watching and hardly anybody's coming here, and he's in America. So let's screen share this. I can hear the frequencies already buzzing around in the flat. So that's this channel. Real clouds are thick, puffy, and bloating. There isn't any natural clouds, natural size anymore, yeah. And people are making reference to UFOs and seeing them in clouds and things like that. So he's staying with people at the moment, and what he's doing is trying to raise funds. I'll never do that. PayPal me the red thread of Disney news. He's staying with people instead of his own place. And he does streams with people interested in the subject. The news bought for the elites destroy everything. Well, there's a lot of people already know that. And he's just talking. So, and that's what people are talking about. But does he what? If you still got friends to go and stay with, and relatives and family, it is not. And be careful because these people could be to powers that be. And then you look at my stream. Well, I'm permanently watching. And nobody coming in the chat. Yeah. It's obvious what's going on. So I'm just seeing documents things out. So they want to create a wipeout of financial market as well, manipulation. It's like going back all those years ago. Closing down global economy. This planet's in for a major change. In every corner of life. But it implies that according by the orders of masters, such deaths, permanent will strike and will make them weaker, and more prone to diseases and pass away from, and from famine. And statistics must go by the orders of the masters. Who are they? And deaths automatically be, automatic to, what. And it's done elsewhere in the global north and global south. So, yeah, these articles. And then the world never faced a hunger emergency like this. They're controlling food and facing it 261 million by the end of the year. Hunger. It remains an infamous Kissinger quote of 1970s: control oil, you control nations. Control food, you control people. Henry Kissinger. So let's see what they mean by masters. because we're all spiritual beings, whether you're the light or the darkness. There we go. As I said, follow the bloodline families behind the globalist New World Order, capitalism. It's the main file about it. America is just trade wars. The super rich already controlling their escapes already have. Where do you think they're off right now? I've noticed this for quite a while actually. The article's old, 2015. It's a bit like that movie, 2012. Buying airships, farms in remote areas. Former hedge funds partner tells. The civil unrest is obvious. The super rich will be destroyed. The souls will be destroyed. They're buying a pair of ships in places like New Zealand because they think they need to get away. And this story goes into despite it's automated as well. People buying furniture and things like that or anything, you don't need all that stuff. You really don't. You look back in all these years ago, go back in history, how the older people, lived through depression years, the potato famine. Big Brother definitely does. Because they're going to look you with the bloody cameras everywhere, and your smart devices, and everything else is technology. Everything. Big Brother state. Yes. You can't buy anything without a chip in it these days as well. "70 years late and it's still 1984, what it always has been. 1984 versus 2025. Top secret government agenda for global enslavement plan. Yeah, it's already known, Lisa Haven, people like that on the website. So transhumanism. It is already here, but it'd be more high tech by the year 2025 and 2030. And time travel's already here. Future time travel or wormhole in physics. Because much of what we wrote about is already here. The technology is already here. That's what target individuals have been our test subjects for this technology. The human test subjects without consent. The mind control, the brain technology is already here. They're using the frequencies. Implants has already been here a long time ago. The biotech has been there for a long time. And the neurotechnology, the electro implants, has been around for a long, long time. Human ID implants, cyborg technology. They've been planning this for a long time. Smart cities, smart everything. The brain implant, yeah. Thought Police, the movies, the TV shows, everything like that's already out there. The storylines telling you what they're doing. Brain interface and supercomputers. It's already here. Artificial intelligence is already here. And the wearables like bracelets, I already read that document, what they're planning this year. Beacons, barcodes, wearables. Like a sensor, electronic tag. Linked to the individual's phone to enforce a home quarantine. Like a GPS server or a GPS receiver. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. That's Bluetooth radio beacons within the range of someone's phone. Like a contract tracing app. Some low-tech wristbands is just like a piece of thin paper with RQ code. So there was a voluntary trial involving 2,020 people population. What a band basis to tell me whether these are wearables could identify. Have a look at the trial. What year was this? (2020). They were aged between 35 and 51. Healthy age range 25 to 41. The research invited people participated in a previous study started in 2010. We lived in that particular area. 2 studies. Monitoring. And the use of the AI for early detection. So basically, it was suspected, the study, March 2020 it started, to this year, December 2021. Funded by their government, the royal family of Liechtenstein in Switzerland, a foundation in Switzerland as well. Who is the main contact? Wow. So this they helped me just now. Evidence of this 54 88 2021 when I was showing that they're doing a test of wearables for track and trace. When the study started was March 2020, ends in December 2021. Switzerland company. Scientific study, Professor David Conlon. Population Health Research Institute in Hamilton. I was in Canada. Also, it looks like it is Switzerland too. Yeah, Switzerland and Canada research studies. Defining the role of a fraternity bracelet for early recognition and monitoring of COVID-19 observational study, GOB1 GAPP. The WHO has declared the current outbreak, and therefore, so it's concerns critical. What was the outline at the bottom? Development of early and reliable detection. So who funded this? Let's have a look. In particular, devices ability. Right. So looking at rising pulse rate, breathing rate, skin temperature, and movement could render it ideal candidate during screening point of care, both for potential, and users ensure their exposure status. We aim to develop this based on monitoring data, allowing for early prediction of and early recognition of the you know what. We intend to conduct the study in the first phase by recruiting participants from the study group, which we intend to conduct states when. And their study group began in 2010. Particularly in Switzerland, in order to study development of the Cardiovascular risk factors. The document reference to that. And then the population-based national coordinate, including states to study participants' ages, adults, and to study what years are doing now. And the states monitoring the temperature, breath rate, pulse rate, movements. It is possible to predict the of infections in detail, the temperature due to inflammation, infection, breath rate, infection of lungs, heart rate, stress will be indication of stress will be diminished as a consequence of an infection. What stress will also reflect the severity of. Further, we appreciate that the registration of characterist movements also allows us to recognize cough, fever, breathing problems, cough for all clinical cornerstones to diagnose. Epic approvals, look at this. 2020 in April, 9th of April. Central Ethics Committee, Switzerland. Design. Okay, Swiss Weekly. Publication 2012. Background. Electrocardiography. Child bleed 24-hour hotel monitoring. Bio. Animal's blood while analyzing sleep, pulse. Follow-up examinations over 3 to 5 years since 2010. Study. So yeah. So I thought they wanted people to monitor them in their own homes. Biometric data. Originally, the clinical trial was voluntary. So companies are showing interest to get their employees to wear these braces in the workplace too. Supplied by a Dutch company, Wombert. EFF is wearing about mobile-based Bluetooth. So, according to Mobile Health News, only users who test positive or you know what will be told to hand their wearable device to Ministry of Health in order to upload data sent to a server about who they have been in contact with. Objects to such centralised approaches to automatically contact tracing, whether by means of a phone app or wearable device, further details. Let's have a look at this. Singapore. Look at that. What language is this? Year 2020 article. Article is 2020. I think it's up into the individual to researchers. Israel uses drones to peer through the windows of quarantine people's houses. Really? Look at this. August 8, 2021. What date's the article? Ah, they always want my bloody data anyway. The drone glides up and down a high rise until it reaches an apartment window where a woman waves from inside, proving to police that she is self-isolating after you know what. Israel police deploying drones as part of efforts to stem the you know what and to keep obviously people safe. Israel has also approved the use of phone spying technology that was previously used for counter-terrorism. Bloody hell. And Israel countries have rapidly come to see such methods as critical tools, you know. Good gracious. And high-story buildings. In other countries have used them. France, Italy, Spain and China. In New York City, New Jersey, India has also used drones to monitor. Elsewhere, Middle East and Kuwait and United Arab States, police have used drones in order to stay indoors in Dubai. There's concern about privacy. Israel Democracy Institute states it's a violation of rights of the police use drones to look into people's private homes. This article is interesting. The Times of Israel news. What's going on in the world now over there? You got Jewish Times podcasts. You guys region by region. And also what? They can request a selfie at any time for individual, their photo, or the authorized individual with the bracelet in the same image. Bloody heck. In 2016, this particular company, Telecommunications in Kuwait, a Ministry of Islamic Affairs, deployed wristbands smart cars to monitor locations 8,000 Kuwait pilgrims during the annual pilgrimage to Marrakesh. The use of new bracelet enforced through selfie request violations risk being transferred to that area government's quarantine facility as well as other actions. Really? Yeah, they're forcing people to download their app. That is undermines their ability to control their own phones and data they share. Wow. Privacy, surely. Oh look, so they're saying people who fail to take their requirements to wear them or attempt to tamper with them could lead to 12 months in their prison and fines in US dollar terms. Oh look, and also in the USA, Kentucky and West Virginia have required electronic ankle bracelets for individuals who refuse the quarantine procedures. Like in Australia, they're using the GPS technology to locate individuals. It raises serious concerns about privacy and personal freedom. Oh my gosh. Charlestown News. Common sense would say you can be safe indoors. You have any kind of whatever's going on. With full disclosure in terms, conditions and requirements is required, surely. This is America. The way the world is at the moment. That's West Virginia, Charleston City. And the Court of Maritime Law Court systems over there. Wow. It restricts an individual's physical range of movement and must be paid for by. Oh my goodness me, look at this. Digital jail, electronic monitoring devices. Electronic monitoring devices defends charge individuals hundreds of dollars a month in America to wear the devices behind. That's terrible. 2019 article. $10 a day to private company to use as monitoring devices. On this example article of a different matter on a different case, but it's reference to these private companies in America. Oh my gosh. So what if you can't pay for that cost? You end up back in, my goodness me, this is ridiculous. People need to investigate. Implications of using this. It's a long history. I won't go into that now. On a topic. So you got Malaysia, you got businessinsider.com, Hong Kong. Where's tracking me anyway? If you're going to Hong Kong, you need to wear a wristband and follow 14-day quarantine. Let's check to see the date of the article first. Year 2020. Individuals' right to privacy is important. Definitely meant to be. We're in Australia, it's stating I don't want everything to do. Yes, one needs to investigate and be aware. So, this information is off. Lisa Haven. Date article is 14th, 24th of November 2015. Agenda for Global Enslavement Plan. with the links. And that makes you wonder if there's invisible magnetic field, time machine, space travel. Goes back in history again as a start to stream off with. Is it possible? Gravitational waves. There's a lot of links. Cosmos energy. Let me go straight. Yeah, it's about to original. The theories. Let's go back. Meeting with Esther Shaw, 1954. Birth contact. 2004 article. As I said, it's worth looking at the evidence. Mid District 12. The director, so as I said originally, there is the link of the date of the article. The Ultimate Secret, MJ12. The Top Secret established by the order of the President Harry Truman, 1947. So that's the original page I started off with. So if you want to look into that, just be careful now. It's made out of Nelson Rockefeller to start with. Yeah. And you might want to research who he is. And just be careful because it can take you off tangent onto other different links. But if you want to look at the bloodline of the families, those are bloodline families. And then, of course, I stumbled across earlier about the Ultimate 1974 food, the largest study of food supply chain to control the food. 1974, this article before that. The plan to control the production of food, world population. Let's see the article date. Contents of Kissinger's plan to control the food supply. Can't believe this. National Security Memorandum, 10th of December 1974, correction. CIA director at the time of George Bush. So it goes into the key 13 countries: India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Philippines. Special attention to those countries. Why? To claim that population growth in these states was especially worrisome. Why? The relative political, economic, and military strength, for example, Nigeria, already the most populous countries on the continent, with 55 million in 1970, Nigeria population at the end of the century predicted to be about 135 million, suggesting the political strategic growth in Nigeria and at least in Africa or Brazil. Brazil currently dominates the continent, and the study warned of growing power status for Brazil and Latin America on the whole scene over the next 25 years. Food as a weapon. There were several measures that Kissinger advanced to deal with. Most prominently birth control related population reduction programs, and also warned the population growth rates likely to increase. Jesus. Oh, good gosh. The Windsor's Global Food Cartel Instrument for Growth. What's this article? 1995. 10 to 12 companies, assisted by another 3 dozen, run the world's food supply. Which is grouped around Britain's Windsor House of Windsor, led by 6 leading grain companies. Look at these. Windsor-led food and raw materials cartel have complete domination of the world's cereals and grain supplies, from which wheat to corn and oats, from barley to rye, but it also controls meat, dairy, edible oils, fats, fruits, vegetables, sugar, and all forms of spices. Every 10 years, millions die from the most and lack of their dietary bread. This is a result of the work of the Windsor-led cartel, allegedly. As the ongoing financial collapse widens, bloated financial paper has moved into hoarding, increasing its food raw materials holdings. It is prepared to apply a torrent food production, exploit supplies, not only to poor nations, but advanced sector and rations as well. The uses of food as a weapon, to be found at least 4 millennia ago in Babylon. Imperial Rome took this track, as did Phoenicia, and various offshoots, including, oh my gosh, the Dutch and British companies, Eastern India companies. Today, food war is firmly under the control of London, with the help of partners in Switzerland and Amsterdam. No. Really? The House of Windsor and Club of the Isles. Worldwide Fund for Nature, headed by the Duke of London, Prince Philip, which leads the world in organisation of ethnic conflict and terrorism, such as the British created something movement I can't pronounce. The British intelligence, and I can't pronounce that name, Corner Black, which is leading the assault to destroy Bill Clinton, American presidency, allegedly. It gives you a diagram, a House of Windsor, Club of Isles, Worldwide Fund for Nature. Oh my gosh. Oil, gas and coal on the left. British Petroleum, Royal Dutch Shell. No. Food companies involved. Materials on the right, then another diagram down below. While they maintain the legal fiction of being different corporate organisations, in reality it's one interlocked and disintegrated with common purpose and multiple overlapping boards of directors. The Windsor-centred cartels that they are the instruments of power accumulated over centuries. Shoot. This article. I'll leave it there for the researcher, for anyone to research on me. Whether you think it's fact or fiction. Signing out for now. Monitoring me. Yeah.